Winnipeg, and welcome back to the Mike Vogiatzakis show on this Wednesday night. Tonight, not just another show, but a show we're going to talk about leadership, accountability, and the reality that people are living every single day in this city and province. We're going to start tonight with a story that's shaking Winnipeg right now, a city councillor facing serious criminal charges. These allegations before the courts are happening right now, but the questions they raise affect every single one of us. Then we're going to shift into something that's, well, hitting every household in the province, and that's really the cost of living here in Manitoba and Winnipeg. Groceries, fuel bills, as well as, obviously, all kinds of bills just that keep going up and up and up. And if you're a business owner, you know what I'm talking about. Obviously, you've had to readjust your prices, much like everybody else is doing in the country. And are your customers feeling the same strain and stress with having to pay that extra amount because of, a bad government? We're going to talk about some of that tonight too. And people are not just feeling pressure anymore. They're actually suffocating from some of this. Premier Wab Kinew has been talking about removing PST on groceries. What is that? Like pennies on the dollar? Peanuts? At the end of the day, you're going to save $3 at the grocery store, maybe a couple of bucks on gas. The reality is GST is another big one that needs to go too. And the question is still simple, though. Is it enough? Or is it just another announcement while families continue to struggle? There must be an election coming up. Yeah, whether it's a city election or a federal election, it doesn't matter. Everybody's kind of getting prepared for that scenario. Looks like some of the people that have caused damage are moving on to other things now that they can. We're also going to ask a question a lot of Canadians are asking right now. What's happening in our country? Because, well, there's been a bill, C9, and it means something. What does it mean? Why it has people concerned, and where this line has been drawn between protection and freedom. We're going to finish tonight off with something that hits Mike's heart, mine as well, the mystery men of the seniors system. What's that about? Well, the people behind the scenes, the layers, the bureaucracy, the decision makers, no one can ever seem to find, while seniors and families are left waiting, suffering, and searching for answers. It's going to be a very powerful show tonight. Real talk, no filters, no sugarcoating, just straight into great communication. Mike's here and ready to go, so am I, so let's get into it right after this.
At Santa Lucia Pizza, you know it's all about the sauce. Did you also know, whether dine-in, takeout, or delivery, our menu is sure to please with a variety of options for the whole family. With quality ingredients for pizza, pasta, Greek, and so much more. Cut cooking out of your dinner plans and let Santa Lucia Pizza do all the work. With large portions, superior taste, great service, remarkable quality, and exceptional value, plus fantastic menu options, and our specialty, of course, pizza. Fresh and piping hot to your door. Pizza, pasta, Greek food, Santa Lucia. It's all about the sauce. Order online at santaluciapizza.com.
Once again, I'm sitting here on a Wednesday night with Mike Vogiatzakis, and I've got no pizza, and I'm hungry. And I tell you what, how many months has it been now we've been doing this, and I still haven't had a piece of pizza.
You actually look hungry. I think I need to get you a big pizza, like a 15-inch
the
massive
big
pizza.
one. Yeah, the all meat, extra sauce. I'm in.
Some lasagna and maybe some I don't know, other stuff.
I'm sure the guys
put some weight on.
The guys at Santa Lucia are watching right now. They'll probably send one over.
Oh man, one of these days they just may surprise us, and somebody will be knocking at our door and going, "Hey, pizza's here."
Pizza for you. That's right. Wouldn't that be nice?
Gonna say hi to people on the show tonight. Hey,
sure.
Before I do that, what a crazy day in Winnipeg. A big takedown in Osborne Village. Another
Hey,
big
Wab
takedown.
Kinew's office is up in Osborne Village. Is that what was going on?
Is that who they took down today?
No, I don't know. I have no idea. You're going to have to expose
Another
that
big
to me.
takedown in St. James today.
What?
It seems like the Winnipeg police are extremely busy with takedown after takedown, standoff after standoff, and wow, what's happening in Winnipeg? Gonna say how? Hey, there's Gord. He brought the beers. Actually, he texted me earlier today.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
He's gonna get drunk tonight watching the show. Randy, good evening. Welcome to the show. Randy fell this week on some ice.
Oh yeah, is that what happened to his arm? Man,
Yeah,
I
and he
saw that
posted
picture
something
yesterday.
on Facebook, and he it looked terrible. It looked like
It looked like he fell on the gyp rock on his house and raked his arm across the wall or something, man. It
Well,
was
Randy,
bad.
we thank you for watching, and we hope that you're doing better.
Yeah, get healed up, buddy.
And look on the positive side. You didn't need a mortician.
You didn't have to call Mikey.
Mavis, good evening, Mavis.
Hey, Mike Cherry, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Randy Medwood's here from Toulon again. Mike Mazur's online tonight.
Where's Mike Mazur tonight?
He says Mike's on the road, and I'm back from Saskatchewan. I'm picking up another load and headed down to Altoona.
Mike
in
Mazur
southern
is like
Manitoba.
everywhere.
Well, he travels a lot like our other friend did, Carl Krebs.
Michelle, hey Michelle, good evening, welcome to the show. Susan, Alec, hi Mike and Brad from Wayne. Susan, Alec, happy hump day.
Debbie Lamoureux's here, Sandra Cheadle, Al Bueller.
Al Bueller.
Mike Cherry says, let's hope this charge goes to the courts and not get stayed like his last case. I guess he had another case. Do you know about Ryan's other case?
Ryan?
Was it Ryan?
Ryan? Oh, the counselor.
Yeah, the counselor.
No, he, I know about his other case. So he had...
Okay, well, we'll talk about that.
yeah,
We'll get
yeah,
into
yeah,
it. But
yeah,
there is
yeah.
another case, obviously, that he got out of. So,
Also, Randolph, good evening, Mike and Brad. Al Bueller again. Wow, he's just fast on those buttons.
yeah, he types pretty quick for a guy
Kevin,
that uses
hey,
one
Kevin's
finger.
on the show. Look, haven't seen Kevin in a
Hey,
long
Kev,
time.
how you doing,
Here,
buddy?
Kevin, we'll give you a free plug. Go ahead.
Yeah, NanoSilver, Canada NanoSilver, of course. Great stuff. If you
See,
haven't
Kevin,
tried it,
you haven't been here for such a long time. We forgot what your product's like.
I talked to Kevin a couple of weeks ago. He's doing well. He was just up north. He's been traveling and doing his work up there, and he's got a lot going on. So
Sandra's also on the show last night. We had a conversation last night at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
did you? Yeah, I'm always talking to Sandra at like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Funny. Gloria Kay also on the show. Anyways, we're gonna get to the show. Oh, there's Glenn on the show also. Somebody
Glenn
new.
Valencia, yeah.
And hey, don't forget to like, share, and follow the show. We need to get it out. There's no doubt
Hi, Patty
that
Bell.
Facebook is kind of blocking us from getting out to people.
Yeah, well, that does happen.
And so the more you share it and the more you talk about it, the more people find out about it. There's an election coming up.
there is.
There's an election coming up, and
Are you thinking about running?
am I? I've been running every morning,
I
and
bet
I'm
you have.
going to be running all the way till May.
That's good. And
And-
look, somebody said that this kind of like started the other day, like officially.
No, well, basically, May is when you can go in and register, and that's really the bottom line.
So, but are there individuals who are allowed to start campaigning now?
No, you can't campaign until May. Maybe out of town or something. I'm not too sure, but in Winnipeg it starts in May.
Manitoba Stronger Together can
Oh, look,
drive.
Kevin says
Thanks for the plug. Yeah, there you go.
www.canadanaноsilver.com.
Of course, we'll always give you a plug, Kev.
Yeah, Ken, send us some products. Maybe a weight gaining product for this guy.
Weight loss for him?
Look at this guy. Look at him.
Oh, yeah, big guns, you bet.
Anyways, you were saying before I interrupted you?
Well, I forgot now because you interrupted me, so
Look
I'm
at
just
that,
going to
eh?
move on, I guess.
Maybe we should get right into the show because it's going to be a long but interesting show that's going to keep you on the edge of your
not long.
seats.
We only got an hour. We'll get it all in. All right, so if you're just joining us tonight, we're tackling one of the biggest stories in Winnipeg right now, along with the growing cost of living crisis across Manitoba and Canada, for that matter, the concerns around Bill C9, and the way our seniors are being let down. Now, before we begin, we want to remind everyone watching what we're about to discuss regarding the counselor are allegations before the courts, okay? So nobody's throwing the finger down or pointing the finger. We're saying there's been allegations. We're going to let everybody in on those allegations, and that's the right thing to do. And what happens from there, this is not about judgment tonight. This is about accountability and public trust, which is something that Mike brings to the table every single day he gets out of bed. Mike, let's get right into this tonight. And I know that we're going to kind of shake Winnipeg up a bit because of some of this stuff, but that's okay.
You know, it's all over social media already, and the public is pretty much outraged, and Winnipeg again has become a joke. And this news travels fast, and when somebody on city council is involved in allegations such as this, it's pretty scary.
Well, I want to say one thing. I'll just stop you for a sec because I want you to know this. Winnipeg, there was a poll or the survey from Census Canada came out, and it showed the worst cities in Manitoba,
Right.
or in Canada. And Winnipeg wasn't number one.
It wasn't?
No,
That's
it wasn't
good.
number two.
What was it?
Well, how about this? How many people does Winnipeg hold? We got about 100 pardon me.
Almost a
a
million,
million. Yeah. 900 or 800 something, right? Lethbridge has 100, just shy of 100, 98.
Aren't you from Lethbridge? Isn't that where
Well,
you
no,
came
I live. I'm from here,
Right.
but I lived there for a period of time. Now, in Lethbridge, we're talking number 2 on the list
from? Wow.
with less than 100,000 people. Winnipeg for the worst crime rate ever, but here in Winnipeg, we're 6th.
But I think what happens there is the statistics don't really. So here, listen. This is what happens. So you need to know. So let's just say somebody gets arrested, and they're charged
Right.
with a crime, and it takes 2 years. After 2 years, that crime is thrown out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And-
there's like a
And
statute
that's
of
not including all the
limitations.
people that are stayed, all the people that get dismissed from courts and are released.
That's right.
So statistics aren't really statistics when you look at how they work. And I found that out going through the system with my brother's murder.
No,
And-
because there's a lot going on between the beginning of January and the end of March, for example, and all of those aren't counted in
That's
that
right.
tabulation.
So what I want to say is this: this is how bizarre and crooked the system is. So for those of you who know me and know my story, know that my brother Kyriakis was murdered 2 years ago. Get this: his killer has already served 3 years.
Yeah, that's right.
My younger brother's been deceased for 2 years, and his killer's already served 3 years. That's because 1.5 days of credit is added to every day that he spends in that cell. So really, by the time we get to court, because they've delayed it again, we were supposed to go to court in April. Now it's June. So by the time we get to court, there's a good chance that he may just be released. Anyways, going to get back into the story here that we were talking about. And you mentioned Ken Drysdale when I interrupted you.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He was doing a show.
Yeah, he had another guest on who
Yeah.
was supposedly running for mayor, but he didn't say who the guest was. He
But-
kept it all a secret.
It's out of town.
Oh, it's out of
It's out
town.
of town. So
Okay.
Ken Drysdale's come up with
And it was a picture.
system.
I said, that doesn't look like Mike. I was like, that shadow doesn't look at all like Mike. But it was a woman.
Yeah, he came up with a system where, Stronger Together have come up with a system
Yeah.
that teaches people how to run for councillor, how to run for mayor.
Well, that's a good thing.
And it's a good system he put together. Ken Drysdale's a good guy, pretty smart, and a talented guy putting.
I'm going to say
putting
really
things together.
smart,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've had many a conversation with him. He said,
So Winnipeg woke up to a story that stopped people in their tracks this morning. A city Winnipeg councillor, a man elected to serve the public, now facing serious criminal charges. Let me be clear about something. These are only allegations. The courts will decide the final outcome. But as we said before, this isn't his first go-round. But that is not the conversation tonight. The conversation tonight is about trust. When you hold public office, you are held to a higher standard. Would you believe that, Brad?
yeah, of course.
You are
better
not
be.
just
You better
another.
be.
Yeah, you're not just another employee. You represent the people. If I become mayor of the city, I will represent you. My actions, have consequences. You make decisions that affect families, businesses, neighborhoods, public confidence, and the future of the city. So the question becomes very simple: can someone continue to sit in that position while facing charges like this? These allegations are pretty serious. And when the Winnipeg police charge you, they obviously have a whole bunch of investigation work that they've done to bring it to the Crown, and the Crown decides whether a person should be charged or not. Because this is not a small issue. This is not a parking ticket. These are serious allegations that shake confidence in leadership. And Winnipeggers are asking this question, Brad. Should he step down while he goes through the court system? What is the policy at City Hall? What are the rules? What is the standard that the city of Winnipeg will follow? What will Scott Gillingham do in this situation? Or are we all, once again, in a situation where nobody wants to take responsibility until the pressure becomes too big to ignore, meaning the public is all over you? If this were your job, people would be asking the same question. If this were any other workplace, would that person be sitting in their chair tomorrow morning? That is the question people are asking right now, Brad. And they deserve an answer. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, Mike, let's get right into this next question people are asking tonight. There is quite a few questions that people are going to start asking because this is a pretty important topic. A city of Winnipeg councillor facing serious criminal charges. Now, these allegations before the courts, but the public reaction has been strong, Mike. We know that. So let's ask you the question directly first, and then we'll see what other people have to say. Now, do you think a sitting councillor in this situation should continue doing their job, or should they step aside?
You know, Brad, I think this is where leadership matters.
It does matter.
Really matters. This is not about guilt. This is not about responsibility. In my opinion, when you are facing serious charges like this, you need to step aside. Not because you are guilty, but because the role you hold requires public trust. And right now, that trust is shaken. Public office is not just a small little title. It is not just a paycheck. It's about the table that you sit at and who you represent. It's a position of confidence. And once that confidence is damaged, the public has every right to ask whether the person can continue and be effective with leadership. And that's the question we are going to ask tonight also.
So let me push you a little further, because pushing you around is a good thing sometimes. So let me just pull this up here real quick, because I've got to make sure I get myself back on camera there. So let me push you further. As I said, are you saying that he should resign completely or just step aside until the case is resolved? I mean, we're going to talk about his other problems in a second here, but what would you suggest?
I think there is a difference. Stepping aside temporarily allows the process to play itself out.
Does a mayor have the opportunity to say, would you be able to, if you were acting mayor, would you be able to go into his office and go, hey, it's time for you to step aside?
You know, if I was mayor in this situation, I would be pulling him aside and saying, listen, this is serious allegations. It affects myself as a mayor,
right,
and our council and the city of Winnipeg. Transparency is very important in this situation.
It is.
So I would be asking him to resign. I know resigning is permanent, but doing nothing is not acceptable.
No,
so
that's right.
You cannot carry this like everything else is normal and because the entire city is watching. That is not leadership. That is avoiding the situation at hand. And people are tired of leaders acting like accountability is optional. So would I be accountable in this situation? 100%. For those that know me would know me that I'm a great guy, I'm funny, I'm a good guy to be around, but I'm very stern and prompt when it comes to business and making decisions. And my decision in this case would be he's got to step aside until they either drop the charges or we see what happens with the courts.
So in other words, get out. Well, all right. Do you think the city of Winnipeg has a clear place for situations like this, Mike?
If they do, we're not seeing it clearly because right now people are confused. And when people are confused, it means leadership has been unclear through the situation. There should be a standard,
Sure.
not case by case, not depending on who you are, not depending on your title or your allies or your political connections.
Right.
A clear standard that protects the integrity of the office of the city of Winnipeg, the mayor's office and the council. Because once you start bending the standard, depending on the person, you do not have that standard at all any longer.
No, that's right.
You have favorism. So favorism cannot be the situation in this story. Accountability needs to be, and I think the mayor needs to step up. The people of Winnipeg need to talk out loud and say, this isn't his first allegation.
No, that's right, and accountability matters, and obviously that'll come in a form of social justice, rather, not social justice, but just justice. So let me say now, is it fair, that someone step aside when they've not been found guilty yet? I mean, what do you do there? You put them on suspension?
That's a fair question, Brad. And again, this is not about punishment. This is about protecting the position.
That's right.
The position is public office. That's what that position is. It's not a privilege. And with that privilege comes responsibility. Even if the appearance of a conflict or concern can be a damage to public confidence, that is part of what people miss.
Sure.
And there is not a criminal conviction discussion. This is about public discussion and public trust. And the public trust is fragile right now. Once it cracks, it's very hard to repair. That's my opinion on that.
And there's a lot of things happening there. So what message does it send to the public, Mike, if nothing changes and, he gets to continue in that role? Does a lack of trust really step up now? Is that what's going to happen? People are going to question everything and bring a little animosity to the city?
I'm going to just go to the comments for a minute before I answer that, because people are wondering who we're talking about. So we didn't mention the name.
Well, only because there's reasons not about.
Well, you know what? It is Russ Wyatt. It's nothing that we have to hide. It's all over Facebook.
That's right.
It's all over the news. Everyone knows about it. So yes, it is Russ Wyatt, and it is his second allegation. And as Abel says, he should step down.
Do you know what the first allegation was?
I'd rather not say, but it's if somebody posts it online, like if Abel posts it, we'll read it.
All right. All right.
It sends the wrong message. It tells people that accountability only applies sometimes, and the standards are flexible. That leadership needs to mean that we need to follow what we need to follow all the time, and show the power to the public.
Sure.
That we have the power to make the right decisions, and that shouldn't erode trust. Once you lose the public trust, it's very hard to get it back. And when the public starts believing there is one set of rules for regular people and another set of rules for elected people or elected officials, that is when sarcasm grows, anger grows, and people start giving up on the system altogether. And that is a very dangerous thing to do for a city that's already in crisis.
Sure can be. And that's exactly why this conversation matters, because this is bigger than one name and bigger than one headline, isn't it, Mike? I mean, that's part of this. So this is about the standard we accept in this city, and standards sometimes are set high in this city. And then there's other times when you're going, whoa, what? How come they didn't set the same high standard? They kind of reduced their standards on it.
Yeah, and I mean, exactly. This is bigger than one person, Brad. This is about the standard we accept in our city. And right now, people are watching closely. They want honesty, they want transparency, and they want accountability. And they deserve all three together in a bundle. And, on the comments, I see somebody say, I want to go to this. Sandra says accountability only applies to hard-working people. Well, Sandra, I'll tell you, if I become mayor of the city of Winnipeg, that is going to be incorrect. It's going to apply to every single person, including a councillor that steps out of line and makes fools out of the city of Winnipeg. I mean, it's not a game. You represent the people of the city of Winnipeg when you sit as a councillor, and as you sit in the mayor's chair, you're the voice of the city of Winnipeg. So not only there got to be accountability, but there needs to be punishment for things that you do wrong, stepping out of line, making decisions that are wrong, and that's just the way it is, and that's the way it should be. And it shouldn't be just normal people. It should be everyday people, including those people that represent the public.
So realistically, then, there should be a law requiring elected officials, maybe, Mike, to step down. Is that step aside, rather, in these situations like this, right?
I agree. There should be a bylaw in place.
A bylaw, yeah.
When a council or mayor tries to bend the rules and tries to hide things under the carpet. I mean, when you go out and if you look at the allegations and what happened, and you will tomorrow all over the news, the allegations are pretty serious.
Is public trust
what happened is pretty serious.
Is public trust more important than legal timing?
Public trust is the most important. I'd say, put it in the comments because the public is watching, and the public should never be the last to know where the standards are. That's my opinion. So the public's watching. Put your comments in the comment section. Tell us what you would do if you were mayor of the city or as a citizen of the city. Do you think Russ Wyatt should step down, or do you think he should just resign and be done with it altogether?
Absolutely. So, ready to go for part two or second part now? Let's get into this.
Do you want to go to some of those comments and see what people are saying about this before we go to
Well,
part two?
nobody really said anything that's going to include much. I mean, 1.23 million police something, I think I saw Sandra Dupree write a little bit higher up. 1.23 million police headquarters. I'm not sure.
Oh, she's talking about the police headquarters and how they're over budget again, and it's like the song that never ends. It goes on and on, my friends, and that's what's happening with, in my opinion, that police stations should never have been put downtown. Even the police officers who finish their shifts, who work hard and obviously are arresting criminals, have to walk to their cars at night. And there's not even assigned parking for the police.
They don't get underground parking there?
No. So here's these police officers, after working a hard day in the streets, having to walk out of the police station in plain clothes, maybe meeting the people they arrested earlier in the day. I mean, they're back in the street before they finish their shift. So it's...
We were talking about comments. Michelle Newman brought a good one up, and we're following up with this on Wake Up Canada News as well. RCMP investigators doing a city council investigation and a mayor investigation in Calgary right now.
That's correct.
That's running rampant through corruption, made possible, all part and parcel. So, look, there's a lot of corruption in this country. We've seen a lot of money that's just, I mean, this is the part of Mark Carney's liquidation. And I know I'm not supposed to talk about federal politics, but it bleeds and sinks down right into local politics and local situations. So how are you going to stop it?
Yeah, it's you're right. It's out of control. Here's how you stop it.
Well, you got an answer?
When election day comes, you need to go to the polls. Too many people sit back and say, "Well, my vote doesn't count," and that's the problem. Every one of us need to go to the polls. And I think personally, I think we have a movement going on in the city when it comes to me running for mayor. And I'm going to tell you something, and I want to show it next time on the show. So when I post something on Facebook, we're getting anywhere from 150,000 views to 1.6 million views. That's a movement. And I don't think there's anyone in city council, not even the current mayor, who's getting views like that on things that they post. That tells you that people are behind you, the city's behind you, there's a movement happening, people want change, people have had enough, they're going to go to the polls, and I guarantee you this civic election, there will be a record amount of voters going out to the polls and making change and making their point, saying, look, we've had enough of you. We want something new. We want change. We want our city back. That's what's happening.
All right, so local politics, federal politics, not the same thing. And that's, I think, what I'm going to try to point out here. Left wing, right wing, same damn bird, okay? When I say it that way, doesn't matter. You've got the same bird. It's a system, Mike, and the system is where we're failing, and the system needs change, and the system needs better structuring. And
Did you see Pierre Poilievre on the Joe Rogan show?
Of course I did.
So, for Joe Rogan being an American and having millions and millions of followers, he basically said that if he was a Canadian, he would vote for Pierre Poilievre. He believes. If you watch him in action, he knows a lot about Canada and the right things. And don't forget, he's been fighting the Liberal government for years until he finally decided to run for Prime Minister of Canada. Anyways, we'll get off that topic. The bottom line is vote, vote, vote. My
point is this. You took it a different direction. My point is this. Everything you do to make a difference going forward is going to come down to trusting the person that has not been in politics before. That's where we're at. If they've been in politics already, they're already in that under the same bird. They're part of the same bird, and you can't get away from that. Whereas this guy is coming in fresh eyes, fresh everything. No political background, no political stance in that regard, and coming in with the ideas to make the city better.
Thinking outside the box.
Well, right. Thinking outside the box, seeing outside the box, believing in outside the box, and knowing that there is a potential and possibility to go forward and make change. Now, change doesn't mean following in line with the same 2030 agenda.
That's the problem.
That's what we're not talking about. We're talking about a different change.
And that's the problem, Brad.
People can get confused on that real quick.
And I hear this all the time, and it drives me crazy, where people say, oh, well, it's happening everywhere. Let's change it. Let's change it right here in Winnipeg. Let's set an example. Well, let's show people what we can do in the city to make the city better, where we say we are leading cities right across Canada on how to do it properly. We're going to come up with ideas that nobody's ever had. We're going to make it work here in Winnipeg, and then it'll move on to Toronto, Vancouver.
Let me stop you for a second.
Wherever it goes.
You're kind of right, but you see, what we keep doing is we keep voting in people who have no education in politics. They think they're politically inclined. They think that they're a great business leader, but they don't come from a real political background or school there. Now, there's 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 students who come out of political universities and college educations, and they never make it into politics. Why? They've been trained for politics. We don't employ them and put them in power. It's ridiculous.
Mike Cherry says this, and it's perfect. Carney had never been involved in politics before. Could hardly speak English, French, until he won the Liberal leadership. And I think Pierre Poilievre, myself personally, will do an outstanding job. I think he's going to change Canada. I think he's going to fight for Canadians. I think he's a real Canadian at heart, and I believe that's where change starts. Obviously, the Liberal government isn't doing it.
We have to trust somebody at this point.
The NDP government is obviously falling apart.
Right.
So if you have good leadership.
There's only one left.
And the other thing, too, that drives me crazy is, and I've said this before on the show, but I'll say it again, where people say, well, you have no power talking about that. You need to talk about civic. No. Listen, you want a mayor who's going to step outside the box and stand up for whatever's wrong.
Do you get to vote in the federal election? You do as a mayor, right?
Whether you're civic, provincial, federal, the mayor has a voice. He's your voice, the city of Winnipeg's voice. And when something's wrong, that mayor needs to get off his butt, stand up for Winnipeggers, and make change. If we need money, if we need new streets, if we need whatever we need, get out there, do it. Folks, I'm not a puppet. I will never be a puppet. I never will be bought. I will never be sold. I'm true to my heart. I'm true to you. I'm a born right here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I care about the city. I love the city. My parents came to the city from Greece. They made it home. It's my home. I'm going to stand up for my home. I'm going to stand up for my family, and I'm going to stand up for you. And there's nothing in the world that's going to change that. I don't need what they're planning to give me. I don't care about the bribes because I'm going to turn them down. What I care about is you. The only thing you can take when you leave this world is your pride, your dignity, and what you leave behind. And what I want to leave behind is a foundation of love, compassion, care, and a person to try to change the city and leave a footprint on here that's going to last forever. And it's about time you got somebody in the mayor's chair who's not politically connected, who doesn't have to answer to right or left, but goes right down the middle, and all he cares about is the city of Winnipeg and what's good for our kids and our grandkids and our elderly. Because it drives me crazy to see how the elderly are being abused all around. I'm not saying it's the care home workers.
You've got to work within the provincial structure
of
as
course.
well. So,
but you're the voice. You're the voice for Winnipeg, and I see what's happening now. I don't want to talk about Scott Gillingham, the current mayor, but I'll tell you, even myself, I hadn't seen him in 3 years. Kind of missing in action. Never in the public eye.
Comes out because elections.
And guess
coming
what?
Up.
Election year is here, and now, and something that drives me crazy, and you could agree with me, or you don't have to. But the other day, he did a commercial for a local restaurant. Kind of a commercial. Hey, Scott. Oh, it's the mayor of Winnipeg. What's your favorite restaurant? A mayor should never stand up for just one restaurant and sit there and eat their ribs and go, this is so good, you should come here. A mayor should represent every business of the city.
That's called selling out.
That's called selling out. What did he get for doing that?
Yep.
You know what? He should get on public TV and apologize for what he did.
Did he need a little extra money on the side? Is that a second job he's
It's just
done?
wrong. And that's the kind of politician you don't want. And I will never be a politician. Take my word for it. I'm looking at you right in the eyes and I'm telling you, I will never be a politician. I will be a businessman and I will be good at it. And I will treat the city like a business. And as far as I'm concerned, Scott Gillingham needs to get live on his on his $62,000 podcast that he put together. And he needs to apologize to every business in the city of Winnipeg for what he did the other day by making that commercial, promoting one local business. Promoting them. If I was in the restaurant business, which I was before in my brother's situation, I would be furious that a competitor in my area has the mayor pushing that business and pushing mine aside. That's it. That's all. Let's get back to...
Are you done?
You know what?
Are you sure?
Sometimes you just got to let go, you know? You push it out of me, Brad. You know, I want to put the gloves on and go the full 12 rounds because I'm passionate about this. And, you know, somebody said to me the other day, who worked for me for a lot of years, goes, holy, Mike, are you ever passionate about running for mayor? Like you are passionate about it, and I am.
All right, Premier Wab Kinew, and the cost of living crisis here in Manitoba is going up and up and up and up and up. So, Mike, let's shift the gears a bit because this is hitting every single household. Premier Wab Kinew has talked about removing PST on groceries. As we've talked about, people hear that and think finally, hey, maybe a little relief. But, you know, it's not that big of a relief, to be honest with you. GST would be a good relief. PST together with that would be a great relief. No longer having to pay your mortgage for a couple of months would be a great relief. So look, I'm going to ask you straight, Mike, is this real help for families or is it just simply passing the buck and hoping that, you know, he's kind of smoothing things over as best he can because he can only go so far really, right?
Brad, let's be honest here. Any relief is better than nothing. And I give Wab Kinew credit for at least stepping up and doing this. But the real question is, how much relief are people actually going to feel. Because right now, families are struggling a little. They are overwhelmed. Groceries are exploding in cost. You go to the grocery store and you buy something and you walk out with this little tiny bag to feed a family that's cost you, $300. Fuel has gone up to the point where people can't afford to drive. And this kind of makes
How much you put in your truck the other day?
Yeah, $250 in my truck to fill it up. I was
Diesel,
shocked.
$8 a gallon.
I walked out and I'm like, hey, I'm not paying for somebody else's gas. No, that's your fuel.
Yeah.
So, the average family that struggles to go to work and needs to go to work, a lot of them have to drive because they go a long ways. So this is kind of take you back to that 2030 plan, the Great Reset, where they say, you will own nothing and be happy, where, you won't be able to drive your car because it's not electric. And,
that's a conspiracy theory. They're not saying that.
Fuel's gone up, bills are higher, mortgage payments are increasing. The Bank of Canada just announced the other day that they're going to be increasing, again. Rent is crushing people. Insurance is costing more. Utilities keep climbing. People walk into a store with one number in their head and walk out shocked when they go to the register. So yes, removing PST sounds good. But will that change somebody's life? That is the real test. Well, a senior suddenly feels insecure. That's what's happening. Will a single mother finally feel suddenly a breath of fresh air because life's easier? Will a working family suddenly stop choosing between groceries and gas? And I think that's happening right now. That is where this has to be measured, Brad. And that's the real question. What does it take to allow a family to live and move on?
All right, so Mike, let me push that a bit. We're going to talk about the Canada justice system coming up in just a bit. That's why that picture's up there. But let me push this a little bit. If PST is removed on groceries, shouldn't that automatically make things better?
In theory, yes. In reality, not enough. Because the problem is bigger than one tax. You had food prices rising, fuel costs rising, utilities going up. We talked about that. Interest rates hitting people hard. The cost of basic living has become, you're suffering. You're suffocating. And that's what a lot of families, and I hear that from families all the time.
Well, we call it living house poor because you've got so many debts and house and car and just living expenses that you can't end up doing anything extra. There's no going out for extra meals, movies, recreation, sports gets put to the back burner.
Basically, you work hard.
A gym membership goes to the wayside and you can't lose that weight you want to lose,
Basically, you work hard, and at the end of the day, you can't even have a little bit of family time to go do the fun things we did when we were young. Everything is stacking on top of each other. So removing PST might help a little, but does it fix the pressure that people are going through every single day? People are not asking for luxury. They're asking for breathing room. People just want to breathe. And right now, a lot of people have none. No breathing room, just pressure, going through stress, and trying to figure out how it's going to work after paying your water bill. Add the water bill in there that's pushing people over the limit. What's your house? Is it doubled yet? Your water bill?
Well, not doubled, but it's definitely way too high. I mean, holy cow.
I got a water bill at the funeral home the other day for $2,000.
Just for the funeral home?
Just for one funeral home.
How many times a day do you take a pee, Mike?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Crazy. So what you're saying is this doesn't go far enough, does it? It really doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
So it's not going to make a big difference to a lot of people, man. It might get them an extra cup of coffee at Timmy's or Starbucks. Let's say I don't need. How about just go buy a pot of coffee yourself?
Go make it at home.
You don't need to make it at any of those other places. Yeah.
Real relief means people feel it immediately, and that's what should happen. Not a few dollars here and there. It means groceries become manageable again, and that's really important. It means seniors are not choosing between medication and food, and that's really important. It means families are not putting groceries back on the shelf after going to the checkout. It means people are not looking at their cart and deciding what item has to go back because there's not enough money left on the card. Right now, people are making decisions they should never have to make. That is not dignity. That is depression.
So, a lot of people asking a lot of questions, aren't there? As you know. So why does it feel like every time there's an announcement, life still gets harder? They think they're going to ease the pain with a little PST reduction, and Wob tries to make it all. Well, everything he does has that cheesy grin on his face.
Well, there's an election coming
annoying.
up, right? There's an election coming up, and Wob wants to get reelected. In my opinion, I think Wob is looking for the bigger piece of the pie. I think he wants to work his way up to being
PM,
the head guy, maybe the prime minister one day. I think that's what Wob's goal is, and I got to be careful because I might be working with Wob
the
next
land
year.
transfers that are getting handed back, why not hand over our prime ministership? I mean, just do it all at once, guys. Let's get it over with and done with. I mean, the UN, WEF are on their way anyhow. All right, I'm sorry about that. That's my bad. I'll just shut up now. Sometimes I saw somebody, I think Randy said, yeah, Mike rocks and Brad says what he wants.
The bottom line is wages are not keeping up.
No, that's right.
The cost of living is rising.
Everything's rising, right?
And people feel like they're running faster just to stay in the same place.
Do you feel frustrated?
It's frustration. It's exhaustion.
How about your kid? Does your kid feel frustration? Like, I mean, he's only got so much limited assets in terms of income.
I think kids feel a burnout right now. Who are going to the gas station, who are going to the grocery stores, who moved out from homes and now are facing the reality of what it's like.
And that's where it brings up something really important and interesting, because it's not just adults, seniors, or middle-aged people that are seeing this now. Our kids are seeing it. Our 22-year-olds, our 21-year-olds, our 17-year-olds.
I said something to Josh the other day. I'm like, Josh, you know what? You are welcome to stay home with mom and dad for as long as you want. We're not kicking you out of the house. It's not like back in the days when I was 18 and I wanted to leave my house and do my own thing when it was affordable.
As soon as possible, right?
As soon
Back
as possible.
Then, yeah, man.
I want to get out of here when my dad go home. Mike, this is my house, and this is my rules, and this is my roof. So when you live here, you live under my rules. I don't do that to my son. But I say, you know what, Josh? You're welcome to stay home with your mom and dad as long as you possibly want. You have a safe place to stay. We know where you are, and you don't have to feel the pain. And I encourage you today, to show the love to your children. And if you could keep them at home, keep them at home. Don't push them away. Be a family. This is when a family needs to bundle up together and love each other and care for each other. Because there's so many kids right now who are young, who are depressed. So many kids taking their lives. So many people seeing no hope in tomorrow.
So many kids questioning the leadership that's in place now because of the things that we talk about, for example. They get it. They hear us talking at the dinner table with our spouse, and the next thing you know, the kids are going, what's he talking about? And then they pick up on it, and they do their own little bit of research, and they find out that the world isn't the bright, rosy place that, our parents make us believe it is. And that's the thing. Our parents are pulling the wool. We try to pull the wool over our kids' eyes, make them feel safe, secure, and give them everything that they want. But the reality is, some of them wake up real quick, and they get you can't pull that over them anymore, and they're going to understand that the world's a troubled place.
And I think the younger generation now is seeing that. And we need to make things more affordable for our kids. Brad and I both coached hockey for a lot of years. And hockey is such a great sport, but it's educational for the kids at the same time when you're a coach teaching these kids the right thing on the ice. Meaning, if you tell the referee off, you're going to be telling your boss off. If you disrespect your coach, you're going to disrespect. You know what I mean? We taught them life lessons on the ice. And what's sad is a lot of people can't afford to put their kids in hockey. Yes, sports is the answer to a lot of things, and we should be allowing kids to come in. Should I answer that? It's Pierre Polyev.
Well, if it's Pierre, man, we could take that call, I guess.
So
we'll be right back after a commercial.
Yeah. So it's too bad that we give all this money to other countries when we could be saying, look, you could go into sports for free instead of joining gangs. You can get into sports or music or any talent you want for free, because the government's going to pay for it. As long as you're involved in the sport, you show up all the time, you got perfect attendance, the government will pay for it. Why? So we could keep our kids healthy, so we could keep our kids educated in sports together with a team, a sports team, not a gang, not criminal activity, not drugs, not alcoholism. Who you hang around with is who you become.
Let's throw that money towards cutting off your ding-a-ling.
And I truly believe that we need to give back to our kids as much as we need to give back to our seniors. And that's where people start losing faith in leadership. When the things that are happening right now are happening, and like you said, you're sitting at that table, and mom and dad are talking, and they're struggling over the bills, and they're struggling to pay for the kids' hockey, and they're struggling to give you a little extra money to go out, and the kid's going, what's going on?
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe mom and dad are right about what they're talking about. Because
Dad would always flip you a $5, or here's a couple of bucks, go to the store with your pals.
When my mom and dad wanted to be alone kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the alone thing.
Here's some money, get out of the house.
Hey, Mike, you go to the store and you buy some candy, okay? And then you go play with your friends. You come back in the 2 hours.
Yeah, we'll wait for the hat to come off the door.
Because if the government keeps saying help is coming, but life keeps getting harder, people stop believing in announcements. And I think that's happening now.
Well, it's like crying wolf, right?
Yeah. They start believing the grocery bill. They start believing the gas pump. And they start believing the overall notice, the overdue notices in the mailbox, which more and more people are seeing. That is truth, Brad. And that's what I'm speaking tonight.
Yeah.
Truth, reality, what's happening in our city, and why we need change. And change needs to come ASAP, because people are drowning.
Well, they're definitely feeling the frustration, and people are suffering at the moment. They're making decisions that are tough choices. Do I pay the water bill? Do I get more food? And that's where it really comes down to, stress. Look, I've said it from day one, and Sandra Dupuis just a few minutes ago typed into the comments, Brad, keep telling the truth. So I've said it from day one that I believe that the WEF's plan is to focus on shifting the north all the way to the south. We're going to end up, trying to get us all out of Canada or move us as close to the southern border as possible so that, they can basically rape and pillage the rest of the resources in this country. But look,
Brad, let's get back to the show.
I know, but this is part of it, because do you think government truly understands how bad it is right now for everyday Manitobans and other people across the country? And, people are up north. If you think we're struggling down here, the prices up north for the goods up there are even higher. And milk, for example, in Nunavut, for example. The cost of that is
ridiculous.
Like $20.
Yeah.
Like, how do they afford to live?
How's that fair?
Their job didn't get a big raise this week, so what?
How's that fair? It's not fair at all.
Well, trucking costs now. It's just like the $250 in diesel you put in your truck the other day.
You know what? It's just not fair. Kevin says something that's true. We don't want government help. We want to help ourselves.
Well, that's right.
And sometimes that's the best thing you do is help yourself. This is what I do. Who cares what the government says? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to hustle every day, and I'm going to make the day the best day I'm going to make it, and I'm going to make your day the best day I can make it, and I'm going to try and put food on my table no matter what it takes. And that's going out there and doing it yourself. Knock on doors, do what you got to do to make it work. And I think they hear it. I do not think they feel it. That's the government. Because if they felt it the way families do, we would see faster action. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
We would see stronger action, more meaningful action, and solutions that actually change people's lives. Because right now, people are not living.
I notice they get a pay raise every time everything goes up, but we don't.
And survival is not the standard Canadians should be accepting. And that's where we need to make change. And that is so right what I said there, because, if the government cared about their people, Wabkanu, Carney, if you cared about your people, you would see that your people are suffering. You would see that homelessness is now rising. You'd see people are losing their houses and their jobs and all the things that are happening in this world. And you would not be giving money to third world countries. You would be taking care of Canadians first. Our tax-paying dollars need to stay in Canada until we can swim on our own, and then we can help people that are drowning. And Canada's drowning right now. We're drowning in debt. We're drowning by losing our faith. We're drowning by losing our people. And people have had enough. They've really had enough. And people are wondering, what's going on here?
Well, people aren't living, Mike, and they're just barely surviving for some of them. We've got more homelessness than ever before. We've got more drug addiction, more mental health problems than ever before, too. And those are the real big topics on the street of today. And that's exactly why this conversation isn't going to go away. We're going to have to keep talking about these issues and these topics, because if we don't, people are going to feel it every single day going forward. And we want to give people a better life than that. It's meant to be something better than what we're seeing. And at the checkout, at the pump, it doesn't matter if it's at the pharmacy, the kitchen table. It's not abstract, Mike. It's all and not political theory either. It's happening, and it's really affecting the daily life of every Canadian.
Brad, why don't you get into this? Why don't you ask the question to people right here where it's on my screen?
Yeah, we want to hear from
Yeah,
people
so-
tonight. Of course we
yeah,
do. And
so-
people are reaching that point where they can't take much more, aren't they? Having live audience questions is a big part of the show, and we love to hear from you guys every single night. Will removing PST actually make a difference for you? Are you cutting back on groceries right now? What's gotten too expensive in your life? Answer some of those questions for us in the comments. Send Mike an email. You can put your comments in after the show's over too, and we'll still see them tomorrow. Do you feel government understands your situation? Those are all big questions, and Mike, I think you kind of got a good handle on that. But are Winnipeggers, asking for extras?
They are asking for a fair shot in life. That's what they're asking for. I think the average Winnipegger is saying, we just want a fair shot at life. We want to be able to pay our bills. We want to be able to take care of our families, have a little spending money to go out and have some fun, watch a movie, go to a hockey game. That is not too much to ask for, Brad.
No, I agree.
And that's all we need as Canadians and Manitobans is to have a little bit of respect shown to us for the work that we do and the taxes we pay and the good old family values we had at one time.
Yeah.
That are falling like right through the roof because mom and dad are working and food's expensive and bills are overwhelming and there's no time to spend with family anymore. So the family tree has fallen apart.
You're hitting it right on the nail there, because I think that's where we talk about family, faith, freedom, all those things kind of come together, and that's where we're sitting now with a bill C9 where the fear of losing freedom is right in our face. And Mike, I'm going to ask you something that a lot of Canadians are starting to ask, and it's a tough answer, I'm sure, but I'm sure you have one. But what's happening to our country with regards to faith?
Brad, people feel like something is changing. There's no doubt about it, and not in a good way. There is a growing concern that freedoms we once took for granted are starting to shift. And Bill C9 is right in the middle of that conversation. People are looking at the direction of this country and asking whether the lines that once protected the expression of freedom, freedom of religion, a freedom of speech, is even there. And when that starts happening, people are getting uneasy.
Absolutely they are. Let's talk about that for a second, because Bill C9 is being presented as protection, right, Mike? And so why are the people uneasy about it if it's all about safety? I'm going to make you safe.
Because I believe what is being sold as protection is being felt by many Canadians as something else, including myself. And it feels more like control, Brad. And that's where people start to pay attention, when they feel like they're being controlled. Because when laws begin to affect what you say, what you can express, and how open you can live your life, your values, your faith, it raises serious questions. The fear people have is not about defending hate. The fear is about government crossing into our lane. And that's what's happening. And we need to remain a free country. And they're taking that away from us. That is what people are talking about right now, in my opinion. What is happening? Am I going to be able to read my Bible? Am I going to be able to go to church? Am I going to be able to be at a graveside and say the Lord's Prayer or the 23rd Psalm?
How about just saying grace at supper?
Yeah, and you know what? There was an explosion on Facebook today.
What happens if your kid rats you out?
I couldn't believe on Facebook today how many people were defending the Liberal government.
Oh, I know.
And I was actually shocked at some of the comments, and go back and look at them on my Facebook page.
Boomers don't have a clue.
Mind-boggling at what people were saying. And one lady went as far as saying, "Oh, you believe in the invisible man in the sky?" It's like, what?
These people don't have a clue, and that's the problem. They're sheltered. They're watching mainstream media continuously.
Let's go one step further on this. I fought for freedom from day one. As a matter of fact, I was the first one to ever go after Palato, after
Brian
Premier
Pallister,
when this whole COVID thing broke out and lockdowns. And I was the first one to almost get arrested when all these police officers came to the funeral home, because I said to Pallister, if you do this, you're going to cause an outbreak of mental health. You're going to cause an outbreak of addictions. You're going to cause an outbreak of violence, break-ins. And guess what?
Depression.
And it all happened. And I want you to know something if you haven't heard this yet. So they said that the lockdowns were illegal. The first court said they were illegal. Trudeau, when he did the lockdowns, It was 100% illegal, the first court said.
He lives in Costa Rica now, folks.
Then they took it to the Supreme Court. And guess what the Supreme Court said? The lockdowns were illegal.
That's right.
Illegal.
Now what are they doing? They're actually appealing that in court, and Mark Carney says he wants one more kick at the cat, even though it's already been denied twice.
Mark Carney is as fake as a $3 bill. And that's the concern. Not hate, not violence, belief.
So,
people are asking if expressing their faith or their values could be questioned or challenged under a law like this. And that is a line that makes people very uncomfortable. You do not have to be a Christian to understand that concern. You don't have to agree with someone who believes and understands that they have the right to hold them responsible and to speak to speak peacefully. That is where the unease comes from.
people have different opinions and different faiths and beliefs across this country. So how does this affect that?
Exactly, and that was the great thing about Canada, the land of opportunity where people can be people. They can bring their faith here, they can bring their religion here, they can go to their churches, and it was always a great country. And whatever happened with the way it was working fine. You don't have to believe in Christianity, Brad. You don't have to believe in God either. Some people don't believe in God. That is your right. But it's also someone else's right to believe, to speak, and to live their faith openly without fear. That's my opinion. That is what Canada was built on. Canada was a land of opportunity and built on Christian values. That's the bottom line. Freedom of religion matters. Freedom of expression matters. And once people begin to wonder whether those freedoms are becoming conditional, trust in that direction weakens. And that's what's happening right now.
So what's changing then, Mike?
The lines are starting to blur, in my opinion. And when the lines blur, people start asking questions they've never asked before. Will I be punished for what I believe? Will I be targeted for speaking openly? Will I have to measure every word just to avoid crossing some invisible line that keeps moving? That question alone should be concerning to people.
Sure, no
Because
question.
freedom does not usually disappear all at once. It erodes quietly, and that's what's happening gradually. One blurred line at a time is going to disappear, Brad, and that's scary.
So we're almost out of time, Mike, but do you think people are overreacting to this real concern?
The fact that people are even asking the question tells you everything. Because once people feel unsure about speaking freely, something has shifted. And that should cause concern for everyone. You cannot have a healthy country if citizens are constantly wondering what they could say, what they can't say, what they can believe in, or whether their values will suddenly become a legal problem. That is not the foundation of Canada. And that's what's changing, and that's what's scaring people. And we need to stand together as one and unite and make a difference. And these people who are following the liberal ways need to wake up, smell the coffee, and see where this liberal government is taking you. See what they're doing to your kids and your grandkids. See what they're doing to your future. See how they're taking away everything. Remember, you will be happy and known nothing. That's the plan. The 2030 agenda is very real. 15-minute cities are very real. What's happening in our country right now is not fiction. It's fact. And if you can't see it, you're blind. Take off those blinders. Do it for your kids. Do it for your grandkids, and for the future of Canada.
You mentioned our country, our city. Our city is involved deeply. WMR, Winnipeg Metropolitan Region. Take a quick look online. You'll find all the details there. It'll show you the whole plan. And it'll prove exactly what Mike and I discuss on this show on a weekly basis, and just get you in tune with what they think should be coming for all of us. And again, too much politics and personal lives causes very much grief for a lot of people.
We thank you for joining us on another edition of the Mike Vogiatzakis Show. Take care of yourselves and each other. God bless you and your families.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, Brad.
See you, buddy.
Good night.